everyone, my name is Chelsea and welcome back to my channel. For today's video, we are looking at my lowest rated books according to Goodreads. So this is a follow-up video to last week's video, which I will leave down below in case you have not seen it yet, where I was looking at the highest rated books that I have read according to the average rating on Goodreads. Today we're going to be looking at the lowest average rating on books that I have read on Goodreads. This is inspired by Michelle from Michelle's Library, so I will have her link down below as well because she did this some time ago and I was like, that is a great idea, because we're looking at not what I necessarily have rated the lowest things that I have ever read, but what the average person on Goodreads who rates it has said. So what we're going to be doing is going to my read shelf on Goodreads. I will put everything up here as well. So on my read shelf, currently it's just based on when I have read it. We're going to go to the average rating and select that one. We're starting off at the top. We did this last time, so we're now going to switch it to look at the lowest rated books we have here. And it starts off with some stuff that should not be on the bottom, so for some reason it's looking weird. I guess I'll mention it right now before we actually get into the lowest rated stuff, because these are both like indie published. Not many people have rated them. One is In Absence by Laura Diaz de Arce. I actually have a copy right here on my favorite shelf because I love it that much. It is a short story collection that has a mix of like horror and fantasy and sci-fi. This one specifically is dealing with some grief as well, and I just absolutely love it. Like a majority of the stories in there, I did give 5 out of 5 stars. And this is like a collection of those stories by this author that I absolutely love. And so actually it does say the average rating is 5 stars because I loved it that much, but it hasn't had a ton of ratings. Is Rapunzel by A.L. Davidson. This is a book that I just recently read, so I haven't even talked about it in a wrap-up yet because I read it this month. It is indie. It's a zine because it's only like 30-something pages, but it's like a sci-fi reimagining, retelling of Rapunzel, but it's not 100% like that. I really did enjoy the characters. I want to see more of the characters. I gave it 4 stars, and I think I'm the only person that's rated it so far because I actually asked the author to put it on Goodreads because we funded this on Kickstarter. So that's why it's a 4-star. I will talk about it more like in my wrap-up, but obviously does not deserve to be at the bottom of the list. Now, as we continue, the one that has the lowest rating is Nothing But Blackened Teeth by Cassandra Khaw. It has a 2.69, which is so low. I understand though. I read this as an ARC before it came out, and I want to say it says I gave it a 3-star. I don't know what I would say nowadays because it definitely was something that left me wanting more. I was hoping for so much more from this one. It is a novella, and that is part of the reason, but it's also supposed to be like horror, like Japanese, ghosty women, that kind of stuff, and it just didn't have enough for me. The writing style also I think was a little bit much. So it does actually say here, first of all, I'm intrigued enough that I definitely want to check out more of the author's work in the future, which is true. I do want to check out more from this author, but something about it just didn't quite hit the horror for me of that. So I gave it 3. It could have been a 2.5. I mean, I fully don't remember, but a 2.69, I do understand where people are coming from. The next one here is My Summer on Earth by Tom Lombardi. It's a 2.83 and I gave it 2 stars. I rated this like October of 2012. I started my Goodreads in 2012. I was 22. I have no idea what this book is. It was published in 2008, so it's probably something that I purchased and wanted to read or borrow from the library and wanted to read. Back when I was graduating high school, didn't quite get to it maybe right away. I don't actually know because it doesn't have a date set for when I read it. But I remember reading it when I started my Goodreads at least, and I remember not liking it apparently because yeah, I gave it 2 stars. The next lowest rated we have here is The Tangled Woods by Emily Rabateau. It's a 2.85. I gave it 2 stars. This is one of those ones that was like an Amazon Prime original, like you could only read it through their e-reader sort of stuff, and I think you could also get ones on audio through them. I don't remember what this one is about. This was a collection of like Halloween-y ones. And I literally have no memory of this one whatsoever. I think I don't have a memory of many of them because this I did read back in 2018. And I was listening to these, I think, on audio when I was working at Barnes & Noble in the back, like opening boxes and sorting and things like that. And so I would have an audiobook on when I could. I don't remember a single thing about this currently, so obviously it was not good enough to remember, but I did not like it. The next one I have here is Believe by E.L. Grimm. This is a 2.87. Again, I rated this before I started my Goodreads. Like, I ended up putting it on here when I remembered. I DNF'd this. I don't remember too much about it except for I think they were supposed to be vampires. This was something that is an indie published book that I think the author came and reached out to me about it or something like that. And it was an ebook that I didn't really know how to use. I didn't really use ebooks at that time, but the writing style of this was very unedited, very juvenile for what it was supposed to be, and I just could not read more of it, so I did DNF that one. We're getting some very obscure sort of things in here. The next one is Christmas Babies by Christopher Keene. This was published in 1991. And I did say that I read it, or like I put it on my Goodreads in 2014. This is something that I remember reading when I was probably like in middle school. I borrowed it from a friend of the family. It was like I was reading anything I could get my hands on at that time. Like literally, I was reading Stephen King at that time. Anything I could get my hands on, I was reading. And this, I wanted to reread at some point, and I think I even bought a used copy off the internet that then got lost or destroyed before I could reread it. But I remember this being something that's supposed to be sort of like mystery, thriller, or horror. And it's called Christmas Babies because it was about like test tube babies, like babies literally being created from DNA that didn't have any parents. Like it was supposed to be a scientific, purely scientific thing, but they all ended up with like red hair, green eyes, and then bad things happened after that. I don't remember anything else. I gave it a 3, which me rating things back in 2012 and 2014, I have no idea if my ratings would hold up now in 2023. But I remember wanting to reread it at some point, so I liked it enough in my memory that I had read it in junior high and wanted to try it again. I have not tried it again since then, but like, it's probably not the best book. Let's just say that. It did get a 2.88. The next one is The Scare School by R.L. Stine. This is from the series Just Beyond. It's a graphic novel series aimed at children. It's middle grade. It's supposed to be horror. I gave this one 2 stars, and it's a 2.9. Now, I read more than just this one from the Just Beyond series. I read the first 3 or 4, and in general, they're not good. The writing style is definitely not good, and actually not quite appropriate for a graphic novel series in the fact that they try to describe too much stuff that is happening when the pictures should be explaining that to you. Like, I shouldn't be getting a whole paragraph of exposition in a graphic novel when you should be able to use your pictures to tell me stuff. And so that was that. There's also, it was supposed to be R.L. Stine, which, I mean, I guess he did write this, and I used to love Goosebumps. I've read other stuff by R.L. Stine that I really liked. It just didn't quite work for me. I will say I watched Just Beyond because it was a series, also a TV series like on Disney Plus or something like that, and I think the TV show worked out better than the comics. Yeah, I did not like this one very much. And then we're getting to some other lowly rated ones that I think we're gonna stop talking about them soon. But there is one that is a little bit intriguing because, again, this was from the Amazon original sort of stuff, the Halloween collection, and this one's called There's a Giant Trapdoor Spider Under Your Bed by Edgar Cantero. It's rated as a 2.92, but I gave it 4 stars. I do remember this was one of my favorites from the Halloween-y story collection. I read it back in 2018 as an audiobook. I don't think I could tell you exactly what this is about anymore, but I do remember this was one of the better ones for me of that list. And then just to, let's cap it off here, we're getting into some 3-star ratings. One we have here is Palo Alto Stories by James Franco. I gave it 3 stars. The average rating is 3 stars. I know I'm not the only person that has rated this because I had a friend who I worked with at Barnes & Noble. This was like one of his favorites, so I read it. James Franco cannot write. The only thing about this is it's supposed to be fiction. It's supposed to be stories, but they are technically based on nonfiction, and then it got made into a movie or something like that. I did not like this. I don't think James Franco can write. Presley is telling me that I need to go do something, so I think we're gonna wrap it up here at the 3.0 stars of Palo Alto. I gave it 3. It was okay, but that's going to be it from me. If you guys like this video, give it a thumbs up to let me know. Subscribe to this channel if you'd like to see more videos. I do have videos coming out on Tuesdays and Thursdays, so I will see you then. Bye.